talked her into it. Yeah, I thought they stopped selling Four Loko. It's an alcohol energy drink, right? So I guess they took the I don't know, I thought I guess they took the they left the alcohol and took out the taurine. Trying to figure out why all the streets are slippery. Looks like I'm gonna be stuck here in this can. Usually they have their garbage out by now. Oh, ye of little faith. Alright, time to engage in some wall breaking. This can is always full. Damn. Ironically, that's probably where the can came from. That house. Is it ironic? I don't know anymore. I'm not a liberal arts major. I just gotta parrot it out. People say ironic, so I say ironic. Most of my liberal art classes were survey courses. It's like, well, you gotta meet this minimum requirement. Alright, music appreciation, world lit. World lit winds up being European literature mostly. There's nothing world about it. Just because you read something, some artist and some author from Russia and some author from France and some author from England does not make it the world. What was it? It was Dostoevsky, Tolstoy, Voltaire, Swift, Blake. That's pretty much it. That's all I remember. And they just slapped the title on it, World Lit. Did we read any American stuff? I think there was one Steinbeck story. I think there were some American poets too. I just don't remember. I never remember them. Looks good on your transcript though. Oh, you took World Lit, so what did y'all study? It's like, that was it. Well, sure, the book I read from had some Chinese stories and some Japanese stories, but we didn't read those. No indigenous folk tales. It's European authors and some American authors. That's what the state of Texas is considered world lit. Damn it. that's new. A lot of assholes coming down here. By the way, while I was changing batteries, Dallas Finest came by. They know me. At least I hope they know me. My nickname is the Bumblebee. There it is. This gets to be hard to do when your hands are made out of ice. There we go. Oops. I feel like the hot chicken cannonball runs too. Some of the ones that were in the skin tight, I guess track suits or race suits, what you want to call them. You know what? I can't remember those suits they had on were vinyl or leather. Was it the first or the second? It was the second one. They were riding around in the Lambo and then they redlined it and hand grenaded the engine. And they were sitting there hitching rides with random strangers and they asked this one guy and he says, "Oh, he goes pretty fast." And then they had this one gentleman in a cowboy hat. I think he was a Western singer or something. I didn't get that because I was watching when I was a kid and I didn't know celebrities. Might have been Waylon Jennings. He pulls up there and he's got a, I can't remember, it was a Mercedes-Benz or a Rolls-Royce. It was a silver bubble type car. And the cool thing about it was that it had wing doors, and they opened up the wing door. And he says, what kind of engine you running here? And he just started breaking down the statistics. I got a such and such cylinder engine with a blah blah this and a Z stroke. She said, well, it'll do this. He says, honey, it'll do this and more. But they kept hitching rides by zipping up and down their the front of their suits, and they were both stacked. In fact, one of them was played by the girl that played Daisy Duke, whose name I just never can remember. She was in there with this tall, buxom blonde. Oh yeah, and Joe Theismann was in it. Maybe that was the first one. Joe Theismann was a record driver. He drove a wrecking car. They call it a wrecking car record, but the bottom line is a tow vehicle. And they were asking, what kind of engine you have? And, oh, I took the stock engine out and I put it in a blah 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 blah. 4-barrel carburetor with a. So I put in an 8-cylinder, 465, blah blah blah, 4-barrel carb. Back in the day, that was the thing. 2-barrel, 4-barrel. You got some purists to sit there and say carburetor's still one of the best air fuel mixture chamber things ever invented, combustion chambers ever invented. You're like, no, or it's not a combustion chamber, it's an intake. Isn't it intake? All I know is the carburetor sucks in air, then it pulls in a certain amount of fuel, then it puts it in the cylinders, then the piston fires, and then the reason the carburetor was considered so inefficient was it takes a pool of fuel into it, and then it just kind of pours it in all the cylinders, and you kind of hope that all of them get the same amount, but it's relying on gravity drip, just distributing the fuel evenly amongst the cylinders. Then came fuel injection, where they just got a nozzle inside the cylinder and all it does is spray the fuel directly in there. And yet, you got these guys on car sites who sit there and swear up and down the carburetor is still better than fuel injection, and you just throw up your hands. You're like, okay. You put them in the same category as vaxxers and anti-vaxxers and the folks who swear that records have better sound quality than CD or digital music. Went off technical on me. What about the girls? Yeah, anyway. Zipping up the front of my jacket, that's what I felt like. Like I'm a big light sticking out here, my big headlight. And I was thinking of her headlights. So now I'm thinking about another movie. I can't remember what movie that was where the girl was getting ready to take her top off. And instead of boobs, there were 2 big giant headlights, and the guy woke up and he fell asleep at the wheel. That's one thing this country still goes nuts for. A busty blonde. It's starting to shift a little bit. Like I said, that's well, based on the sites I go to, but then again, that's confirmation bias. I'm thinking that more and more people are wanting round and round bottoms. They're not so much boob lovers anymore. I used to think the Japanese were boob lovers, but now I realize that the only reason they put big breasts in hentai movies and obsessed about big breasts in Japanese adult films is because of censorship. When the genitalia and the bottom are going to be pixelated out, it's not going to sell as easily as something where the woman's just big and big-breasted. Plus, I guess they don't get a lot of that in Japan. I don't know what the average cup size is. Here you see big boobs every day. They put them on TV, you get them with the weather, they serve them with meals. Flashing back to Richard Jenny now. Honey, I didn't order the big tits, they came with the meal. He says, honey, I didn't order the waitress with the huge hooters, they came with the meal. That's another one, man, that he got out right, like he died right, he killed himself right when his popularity was about to peak. He had an HBO special, things were looking up, and then bam, just gone. He was in the mask. He thought, what's going to happen? So what happened with Richard Jennings? I don't know, man. Somebody had dirt on him or something. Here today, gone tomorrow. One of my other favorite, I used to watch the HBO comedy specials a lot, and I just remember a lot of the really good ones. Robert Schimmel had a really good one. It's called Unprotected. And then he got killed driving to, I don't know where he was driving to. We were driving on the freeway. LA is a dangerous place to drive, apparently. He got killed on the freeway, and then I think Macho Man Randy Savage died driving on the freeway. Was he in California? I'd look it up. Along with my Quora question. How much would it cost to build Egyptian pyramids today? I know someone's asked the question. It'd be pretty damn expensive. When we make it out of the same sand brick like they did, like, in other words, you had to do it exactly the way they did it. Well, wait, I wouldn't say exactly. I'd just say just to build it. I'll say the ones you have it, okay, they have to use the same building materials, and we can use our methods today. Wait a minute. Let me rephrase that. They can use the building materials, they can't use mortar, but we can use GPS and all that stuff to figure out, you know, in other words, they can survey. Okay, maybe that was like the fun out of it. Plus, it probably would make it. You'd have to have a team of engineers using ancient Egyptian surveying tools to try to line up the pyramids to the, I think it's the path of the moon or the sun. I can't remember how they align those things. What amazes people to this day is they did it all without GPS and really compasses and a lot of the tools today. Then you got to build it out of sandstone and all this, or is it, I forget what kind of stone they built it out of. The first part of it has to be built perfectly to where they, it has to be cut perfectly to where they can't get a piece of paper between the cracks. Then after they're done putting in the regular bricks, I think they use mud. I think it was mud with straw baked, and I don't know if they were baked or not. You'd have to use those bricks, and then they covered the outside of it with precision cut limestone. Then after putting limestone on the outside of it, put a giant golden cap on top. So in today's dollars, how much would that cost? Would it be like $189 billion to build one pyramid? I think it would be $1 billion at least. That's a lot of real estate. It's a lot of limestone. I think I would have to change the requirement. You can use modern cranes, modern cutting techniques, modern survey tools, but you have to use the same building material. It has to meet these specs. Can't use mortar and sheet. You have to actually have it packed in there the way they packed it in there. Which pyramid do you pick? Well, definitely not the one they screwed up on, where the top of it looks really fucked up because I guess they had two different builders or something on it. I wonder how much it cost to build the Luxor. That's a modern pyramid made out of glass and steel. Instead of a gold cap, we use an energy cap. That's what I pretty much would call a light, because they didn't have electricity back then. to watch the History Channel. They'd have Modern Marvels. Planes are told to divert around the Luxor Tower because I guess when they built it, they put that big giant light up in the air, and it was causing planes to, I don't know, I guess blinding pilots or something. Because that's the fact of what they tell you. I don't know if that's true or not. Yes, I'm tired, so you hear me babbling. It's a nice night out here, though. It's a nice, warm 50-something degrees. You see that cop again. Do I hate the police? No, it's just, like I said before, they're human beings just like anybody else. I think that's what people get tripped up about. They see the uniform and the badge and they think infallibility. I was like, these guys aren't gods. They aren't rulers. These days they're mostly just government security cops. I mean, security guards. Watching that teacher teacher, was that what do they call it, school board meeting in Louisiana, in that town. Like I said, I don't want to blame the cop 100%. I think somebody waved. Somebody hit a button or waved or gave him a signal, so he moved in on that lady. And what happened after that was just a god-awful fucked up mess. Did she hijack the meeting? Not quite. She wasn't cussing or carrying on. She was being quite respectful. Was she interrupting? A little bit. She wasn't obeying 100% the rules of parliamentary procedures, but then again, why have the crowd there if that's what you were going to follow? It's supposed to be a Q&A session. It's supposed to be a back and forth thing, despite what the guy said. Oh, no, this is not a Q&A session. It's like, it is a Q&A session. You bring up your grievances. They give you reasons why they can't address your grievances, or they'll think about it in the next meeting. The bottom line is they brought in this dude to go in there and cut costs and get tough on the teachers. He has those people working like slaves, and then they have nerve enough to cut their raises. I was like, what the hell? Gave him a raise. Why does he get the raise? I think it was probably hard written into his contract, but I don't understand why they'd had to bring it up at a board meeting. You think it would kick in automatically? No, now that I think about it, maybe it wasn't in his contract. They just said they did their Bush version of heck of a job, Brownie, and they were patting themselves on the back. And the teachers looked at him and says, "You can't pat yourselves on the back while we're still working over here." Can't take the money out of our wallets and pat your already burgeoning one. It's almost like they sit there and say, "Hey man, I deserve this. I work hard telling other people to work hard." Okay. So there's that disconnect. Just about everything that cop did was wrong, though. It was like, he's the only dude there. So he handcuffs the lady and then drags her out there, and what he probably should have done instead was called for his backup or something like that and had them come in, because he was sitting there by the car and he couldn't haul her off. So he just sat there and took abuse from the people in the meeting while he was out there hauling her down to the jail. He was trying to keep the peace and he was disturbing it. That's what's so weird about arresting officers, is that they're there to maintain and keep the peace, and then they do something that totally disrupts it. It's worse than making the arrest is worse than just leaving them alone. Like that issue in Utah where they do haul that lady off because I guess he thought she was getting too lippy or something. But I mean, there's been bad police work all the time. It's just that now, with the democratization of media, we're going to start seeing more of this. All the stories people used to tell you, hey, these cops, man, they're out of control. And everyone's like, oh, you guys are just overreacting. You just need to tell them, do what they tell you to do, and you won't have any problems. Those people who blindly follow the despot. Stalin's not such a bad guy if you just do this, this, and this. Putin's not such a bad guy if you do this, this, and this. Say what you will about this guy, but at least he got the trains to run on time. That whole shtick. Who knows? Like I said, when they get you on film preventing somebody from exercising their rights, when they get you on film, and I thought that thing in Marvel where Punisher, there's a scene where they're protesting at the courthouse steps, and the cop told them to leave, and he said, we're not doing anything wrong here, we're not going to leave. And then the cop just instantly in the conversation said, did you just go for my gun? He said it out loud, like, did you just go for my gun? And I was sitting there watching, I said, cops wouldn't do that kind of thing. Then I'm watching the Louisiana boardroom meeting, stop resisting arrest. And the lady wasn't resisting arrest. He took her and flung her down to the ground. She wasn't trying to pull her hands free. She wasn't bucking up against him. She was asking, why are you cuffing me? They probably need to drop that. It just seems like a dumb rule, resisting arrest. It's like, of course you're going to arrest her. You're just supposed to go along with it. I was like, oh, okay. Or maybe change it to where it's only resisting arrest if you cause bodily injury. Like assaulting an officer should stay, but not resisting arrest. If you're out there punching and kicking and throwing the cop to the ground, that is assaulting an officer. But resisting arrest, I don't know. People even see that on a resume and they're just like, oh, really? What was this about? Oh, was that a protest? Oh, never mind. Say no more. Unless it's a conservative boss and he's like, what were you protesting? Taxes? Oh, well, never mind that. Welcome to the club, brother. Things that get done, and look back at them and you're just like, boy, why did the police do that? I don't know. And one cop, I was watching while the cop was coaching this one lady who got roughed up by a cop. He says, okay, don't raise your voice. He said, don't look upset, because then looks like you become irrational and we don't listen to you after that. I was like, oh, damn. I was like, you'd have to be a Vulcan. Like you're going to lose your cool a little bit. That was the thing that weirded me out the whole time I was watching that video. None of the teachers were cussing. None of the teachers were cussing. The one that was getting arrested, she wasn't cussing. She wasn't acting the fool. I was just like, wow. I was like, she was politely getting arrested, protesting that she was getting arrested, but still politely complying with it. And that was the thing about the nurse in the nurse in Utah. Nobody was cussing. The whole time I was just like, and the only thing I could think is either they were raised that way or years of working in their environment have taught them to kind of censor their language. Can't cuss in front of the kids. Okay, I'll try to remember that. The kids can't cuss either. Okay, I'll remember that. I'm so used to seeing regular people get arrested by the non-professionals, get arrested by the cops. And they're carrying on and they're cussing and they're spitting and they're talking bad. I'm gonna fuck you up, man. I'm gonna mess you up, man. Get your fucking hands off me. Cops arrest pros, they look silly. Cops arrest regular amateur people. You sit there and look at the person like, well, of course he had to do that. Look at her. Probably should have put the club in the back of her head too. If you're gonna be arrested like a pro. What did I say? Pros don't go to jail. They get arrested, they just don't go to jail. You get arrested like a pro, and later on, you and your lawyer can laugh all the way to the bank. When you go after the city or the state for wrongful arrest. Wrongful arrest or illegal detention or whatever sticks. A lot of assholes out here right now. No, I started working out, or started this around 8:40. I just can't get used to it. Like I said, I was in Dallas a long time. And this city used to die right around 9 or 10. And I keep bringing it up because I can't get over it. The streets are still got people, still traffic. Is that a train or is that a guy with a train horn on his car? And I can't remember the last time I went into this Target. The only reason I'll shop there is A, because it's overpriced, and B, because it's inconvenient. They put it right here where I'd have to go from my house to a U-turn and then come back around. Or I could just walk down the street and go to Walmart here. Or I could just order it off of Amazon. Wait a minute, I didn't cut down my mileage yet. I'm still tired. Yeah, let's take that with us. Good beer, by the way. This is one of our locals, pretty good. I think it's an ale. Can't remember. Yeah, it's an ale. It's an ale. Last time I drank one of these was 2004, 2000. Oh, I want to say 2012, 2013. They sell them up there at UTD. And the guy said, I'd like to buy you a beer because I helped him out on a project. So I agreed. And they asked me what I wanted. I said I wanted an ale. And they said, what kind of ales do you have? And the lady brought out the Shiner Bock. I gotta say, it was a pretty good beer. Man, I haven't had a beer in almost 2 years. Huh. Trying to figure out when a good night to have a beer would be. Maybe I'll have one in April. What can I say? I'm too busy for beer. Can't have one tomorrow. Going to work. Can't have one on the weekends. Working. Not really craving one either. I guess the next time I'll have a beer is if somebody treats me to a hamburger. Somebody asks, hey, you want to get a burger? I says, only if it's a place that sells beer. It's something that everyone has to experience at least once in their life. A burger and a beer. They just go so well together. And it's American. I mean, I don't know what kind of beer. I guess burger and a lager, I guess, is American. I like ales, so I don't know who eats burgers and ales. Maybe the Germans. I don't think the Germans eat hamburgers. I mean, you know, not on a regular basis. Cheap ground beef. Stuffed between a bun. Trying to remember the last time I had a hamburger. Maybe 6 months ago. Maybe longer. Oh my God, it's been a year. Yes, yeah, it's been a year. So I think the last time was February of last year, or right around February last year. Now I just had pizza a few days ago. 2 days ago, in fact. Got one slice. That's all that was left. And I had some chocolate cake about 2 weeks ago. So I do eat junk food, I just don't always get to eat. Around the house it's mostly fried this or baked that or a lot of casseroles. Wonder if I should mind to eat the chili. No, I'll eat the chili tomorrow. I think I'll have chicken salad today. Tomorrow's a chili night.